If I dunk this basketball, you subscribe. I recently made 2 trips to Hagerman National Wildlife Refuge near Sherman, Texas on Friday and Sunday, April 21st and 23rd for some spring migration birding. My target species Friday were upland sandpipers and Hudsonian Godwits. I had heard that the lake level was down, which exposed many mudflats, a favorite of shorebirds. So I went as soon as I could before the big rains get there. If it rains a lot this time of year and Lake Texoma swells, it eliminates the mudflats and pretty much all good shorebird habitat. On Friday, near Gordonville, Texas, I got 2 big ear birds with 1 stone when I saw a large female Cooper's hawk on a utility pole and she was being harassed by purple martins. I tried to get a photo, but the Coopers took the hint and flew away. Oh well. I approached the refuge from the west driving down Brooks Lane. The habitat in the area is perfect for migrating upland sandpipers. It's also great for grasshopper sparrows, which would be another big ear bird. And I added both to the list as each species was abundant. And besides just adding them to the list, I observed them for quite some time, which is something I love to do. I get the necessary photos and video footage at first, but then I'll just hang around and watch the behavior of the birds and other animals. I am fascinated by upland sandpipers, which is one of my favorite sandpiper species. First off, the look is quite unique. They are tall, with large bellies, skinny necks, bulbous heads, and great big eyes. And the sounds they make are out of this world. Like aliens from outer space, they have flittering pip calls and displaying males have trilling whistle song. It's so calm to be out in these rural areas just listening to these birds. Sadly, the window for upland sandpipers during migration doesn't last long, maybe a few weeks. And I saw plenty of grasshopper sparrows, which is one of my favorite sparrow species. Perhaps it is because it's one of the few sparrows that nests where I live, that I get to see their behavior during the breeding season. I think it also has something to do with the bird's behavior and its subdued insect-like songs and calls. One call sounds like a cricket's chirp, while the flight call is a tiny, high-pitched seet, like this right here. And one of its songs is an insect-like buzz preceded by 2 or 3 ticking chips, like this right here. While out on Brooks Lane, I also saw first of the year dickcissel. I entered the refuge and immediately, by ear, identified 2 big ear birds, the red-eyed vireo and summer tanager. I soon arrived at the lake, which was down a bit, so there were a lot of exposed mudflats. Right off the bat, I saw 3 big ear birds, a couple of Wilson's phalaropes, a few willets, and about a dozen white-faced ibises. After photographing and filming many shorebirds, I went for a little hike and saw 2 more year birds, found a Terry warbler and an indigo bunting. I later returned to the lake and found a few spotted sandpipers, another bird added to the list. This is another favorite sandpiper species of mine. It has such a unique look, so many spots. And take a look at a side-by-side of the spotted and the upland. These 2 sandpipers are different in so many ways. It really goes to show how these 2 species have evolved for their environments. The upland sandpiper needs to be tall to see over the grass and pastures, whereas the spotted sandpiper's favorite habitat is rocky lake shores. Before leaving, I stopped by the visitor's center and there was a single lark sparrow hopping around searching for food, another bird added to the list. I had some business to take care of in Dallas Sunday, so I visited the refuge again. It was raining off and on Sunday, but I often have good luck with shorebirds on rainy days. The visit started off with a bang as I observed, filmed, and photographed 3 scenarios occurring around me within a small area. There was a very cooperative little blue heron who came close to me and allowed for great video and photographs. Then there was a disturbing scene to my left where a deceased blue-winged teal caused quite a stir. American crows came in to eat the bird, but there were several other blue-winged teals and a few snowy egrets that seemed curious or startled by the whole thing. I'm not sure why the teal was deceased, however. Then there were 2 black vultures having a go at a dead fish. At one point they seemed to be playing tug of war. I honestly don't know if they were fighting each other for the fish or if they were working together to pull it apart for easier consumption. Afterwards, I visited a field with a flooded depression. Every year, this little pond beside Wildlife Drive is abundant with crayfish, which brings in many herons and the like. The phenomenon provides an opportunity for great photos and video footage. And now on to the big ear birds. After failing to locate a Hudsonian Godwit Friday, I struck gold on Sunday. In the past, seeing one of these birds at the refuge would have been rare, but now they are pretty regular visitors during spring migration. But some days they are there, and some days they're not. As I passed some mud flats, I was startled to see a flock of marbled Godwits, which are a rare visitor to the refuge. And to see more than a few at one time is even rarer. I love watching them, and hearing their wild calls made me think of being at the beach. When visiting the Texas coast in fall, winter, or spring, the bird calls you hear are laughing gulls, marbled Godwits, and many other birds. And the refuge sure sounded like the Texas coast Sunday. Here is a mixture of the birds I heard at the refuge that day. Also in those calls were American Avocets, another big-eared bird, of which there was a huge flock, about 100 strong, at the refuge Sunday. It's very exciting to watch these birds. They have such a unique look. They're quite large, but they appear delicate with those long, thin bills. Here is some footage of their feeding behavior. I left the refuge happy that day that I had added 3 birds to the list. However, before sunset I returned to the refuge, but didn't have much luck with the birds. As far as mammals go, I saw a few beavers, then about 40 wild hogs. Those hogs are a real problem at the refuge and just decimate habitat out there. Just before sunset I learned that piping plovers were seen at the refuge. I looked around, but it was just too dark. I was a little bummed that I didn't see them, but I got a nice surprise at the end. As I was leaving the refuge, I spotted a single shorebird by a puddle. It was far too dark to see any patterning on the bird, but from past experience, I figured it was a solitary sandpiper. I zoomed in and bingo, big ear bird number 155. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And here's some more video footage and photographs of birds that I saw on my 2 visits. Thank you.